To reach 200 miles an hour at the World Class Driving Extreme event, you've got some options. There's the Ferrari 599, the Lamborghini LP564, and then there's the Big Benz. So this is the SLR McLaren, which is the supercar that Mercedes rolled out a few years ago in cooperation with McLaren. It's pretty outrageous. They've actually dialed it back a notch with the new SLS, which has less power than this, less top speed, and costs a lot less money. So it seems like for the time being, this is going to be the pinnacle of Mercedes outrageousness. And at over $400,000, it's also the pinnacle of Mercedes priciness, which could explain why, during its production run, the SLR always fell short of Mercedes' goal of selling 500 a year. Still, it's a hell of a lot of fun to drive, and the only car before today, hopefully, that I've had over 200 miles an hour myself. So here's what I love about the SLR McLaren. The motor doesn't even start until right here. All this stuff in front of it isn't even the motor, and that's bigger than the motor in most other cars. Now, a 2-mile-long runway in the middle of the Everglades is a great spot to ring out a 600 horsepower SLR McLaren. But I also brought another Benz with slightly different priorities. So the Mercedes S400 Hybrid, it can't move under its own power. It doesn't get 50 miles per gallon or anything, but it does use a 20 horsepower electric motor to get a little bit better fuel economy out of the S-Class. And it also gives Mercedes an excuse to sell Americans an S-Class with a V6 that we would never otherwise buy. But if it says hybrid on it, then it's good. So you've got the first lithium battery pack that was specifically designed for a car in this car. And yeah, it's a big old S-Class. It costs a little bit less than an S550, and on the way over here it was getting 30 miles per gallon, so. The 3.5-liter V6 puts out 275 horsepower, and when asked, the electric motor kicks in another 20 horsepower. So a lot of hybrids aren't that fast just because either they don't have a lot of power or they have these wimpy little hybrid tires that require a speed limiter at, say, 125, 130 miles an hour, because otherwise the tires will explode. This, being a Mercedes S-Class, has the AMG wheels on it, and it has a speed limiter, but it doesn't kick in until 155. Or at least that's what I think. I was going to do the experiment myself, but French race car driver and WCD instructor Nelson Philippe does the honors. Now, we need to turn the air conditioning off. We need every bit of horsepower we can get here. At these speeds, our hybrid gas mileage dips into Hummer territory, which is in itself kind of funny. We're already at 120, all right. I've already set a new hybrid speed record for myself. Oh, I just upshifted and kind of fell flat.
That's the 130, it's not gonna go more.
That's a limiter, because it's just sitting on 130.
It is actually.
So 130 miles an hour. It's a little short of the 155 miles an hour I thought I was going to get, but still, 130 is pretty quick for a hybrid. Now, while we're here at the airfield, the World Class Driving clients also had the opportunity to check out the new Bentley Super Sports.
165, no sweat.
Yeah, we got the carbon fibre fascia all through the car here. We've removed the rear seats from the vehicle for weight saving purposes. The gearbox has been retuned over the previous GT and GT Speed. It is a 50% quicker gear shift time. It runs the same kind of principle with the gearbox, where we have paddles where we can change gear. We have the left paddle to change down, the right paddle to change up a gear. However, the car will now do full throttle up changes, and it will blip the throttle on the down change, which it didn't do on the previous generation gearbox.
Now let's see how far the Bentley rep will push it.
Okay, so 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 40, 50. So 160 miles per hour.
Now, the Bentley guys didn't bring spare tires, so they hadn't planned on any cornering instruction. Although that didn't stop some of the drivers from coming in hot. There's more cornering problems to come as drivers try to enter the runway at the speed needed to reach 200 miles an hour.
Whoa! Whoa!